Hi, I'm Juanita and welcome back to the Knit Guru. This is Hari. Now Hari is, Hari means happy. He's the stuffed animal representative of this year's Greytown Festival of Christmas, Midwinter Festival, Matariki Festival. They basically, it's winter and we're having a festival. There's fake snow because while it's cold and it's wintry, we don't get snow here that often, like maybe once every 10, 15 years, depending on, global warming, climate change, you name it. Today, what does Hari have to do with anything that I'm doing? At one point, I thought I'm going to make a crocheted version of Hari, but I have not got around to it because time has been flying by. However, one of the things that's been going on for this winter festival is a workshop on giant knitting. So I'm going to a workshop on giant knitting. The plan is, in the span of like 3 hours, I will walk out with a throw blanket and a set of knitting needles. Now, I have done giant knitting before. I have made my own giant knitting needles before. I will try and link something below from the last time I tried it. Mostly what I remember is that it's actually really difficult. And the longer the needles are, the more challenging it is to actually hold. That's what worries me most, is that I've done it before and I know how difficult it can be. The other thing that's concerning me, and that I could not have foretold when I purchased my ticket to this event 2 months ago, I'm in the middle of a bit of a flare-up, so I'm struggling with my skin at the moment. So I am concerned that because we're going to be dealing with roving yarn, that what I'm going to have to be doing is working out how to stop the skin sticking to the fibres. But we shall see. Let's head to Greytown. Will I take Hari with me? I don't know. I might not. It's tempting, but at the same time, I might not. But we'll head to Greytown and we'll get set up. I've just got to pack a few snacks and make sure I'm ready to go, and maybe make myself a wee coffee so that I can enjoy 3 hours of sitting down and doing some giant knitting. Hopefully you've got some updates in the next wee while of what's going on, and then a summary at the end. Giant knitting. Let's go. So, where am I up to in my big knitting? This is my big knitting. So, I went rogue, didn't I? The plan was, for everyone, was to cast on 25 stitches in a special way and to just go for it with regular garter stitch or move to stockinette. But of course I didn't. I had to go with a checkerboard pattern, which does look really cool, to be honest. But what have I learned with my big knitting, other than the fact that there's some sawdust from building the house just in my big knitting? The same place that carded and cleaned Boots and Mittens' fleece is this place, which means that I could technically make big blankets out of Boots and Mittens and not have to worry about spinning them. So that's a definite possibility. Or at least one of their fleeces somewhere along the lines, because I tell you, I'm about to become a grandmother. Boots and Mittens, they're both pregnant. I'm a little worried. Anyway, So this is where we're up to. Now the workshop came with these needles. Now these are handmade, so those are wood turned by some wood turner out in Martinborough, and these are all sanded to perfection dowel rods. This is a 25mm needle. I think that's what she said. Now I do feel like I've got a 15mm cable needle, which means that I could technically do this. She did say that she's tried the circular ones, but the circular ones don't hold their gauge as well. What do I have left of my ball? This is the rest of my ball of yarn. Now this workshop came with a kilo ball of yarn. So this will make a substantial throw, but I need to get working on it. It is a very different technique working with giant needles and doing the giant knitting. And there were a lot of things that I was taking away from what she had to say. The main one was heal it later. If it splits, don't stress, heal it later. And she showed us how to fix it. She also undid things and redid things because her being an artist first and then a yarn based artist second, says, no, you redo. You redo and you reuse and you undo and you do it again until you're completely happy. Or you just get to another stage of life and you undo your work and you redo it. I thought that's interesting because that's not my way. I'm just trying to get this piece of sawdust out of my knitting while I see it. I don't do that. I tend to yarn hoard. So I've got boxes of prototypes to finish, to complete, or to burn, or to something. But I've got so many bits of prototypes. I've got an entire box of just bird beaks. So I am not one to undo and redo. I'm far more likely to just keep little samples or keep the prototypes and then work from that point on. So that was yesterday. Then today, and I wasn't expecting to talk about this one so much, I went to a cross-stitch your own bookmark. And what's cool about it is that this company, Just Love Stitch, which is based in South Africa, the woman who owns the company that imports these is also South African, and it's a cross-stitch kit, but it's on leather. So the counting's different and it's just a little bit different. And I haven't done a lot of cross-stitch in my life. I've seen a lot of cross-stitch. So my sister doing cross-stitch means that I've done cross-stitch. Am I right? So this is probably the most cross-stitch I have ever done on anything. And what I can't show you, because I'm currently using it as part of a tripod, is what I did go and buy with my discount voucher from doing this thing. Maybe if I could stop the video, but I'm not gonna, am I? Because why would I, when I can just do that? I went and bought this kit. Now, this kit, it's starting to come apart. That's a struggle. I will pop that back in there. I think that might have been my dog, to be honest. So, what's in this kit, you ask? And did I need to purchase it? The answer is no. I didn't need to purchase it, but there was a 20% off kit, and it made sense to purchase it because my sister's birthday is coming up. This is a handbag. It's a very sweet little handbag. It's a lovely brown colour. There's a strap. There's some internal bits. And as far as I'm concerned, the price for the handbag was pretty good. Let alone the fact that this comes with all these holes and this grid here. And this grid here gets stitched on there. And there's the wax thread and wax thread needle there. And then you get the pattern that goes on the thing, and then you stitch it on. So you've made your own handbag. And as we know, currently using this one, I am a big fan of making your own handbag. So I got one of these. I am now going to pop this. I'm going to pop this inside the bag. Well, this bit inside the bag. And then I can come back and do the cross stitch and make the front panel once I finished my bookmark. Because of course what everybody said was, no, we should finish the blanket in the knitting workshop, but instead I spent far too long talking. Because we were in an art gallery, and all the time we were in the art gallery, small children kept coming and going, and other people, older people, kept coming and going, and everybody stopped to have a chat as though we were part of an installation. And as we know, I do enjoy a bit of attention. So it was a lot of fun talking to everybody about the process, what we were doing, and thoroughly enjoying it. Now, the woman who runs this at Ventana Creative, she is looking at doing a giant crochet workshop. She's just trying to work out how to get the crochet hooks made by the guy who does the knitting. I do need to finish my bookmark. I have a plan, although the plan was to do these yellow bits on the sides, but now I'm wondering whether or not I do an orange flower in the middle and then a pink flower, because my sister's gone blue, pink, blue. But it's tempting. I will work out what to do there on my bookmark. But the little kit, which was not an expensive little kit, to be honest, and also not an expensive workshop. And to be fair, neither was the giant knitting. I mean, it was a lot of money up front, but the yarn got custom dyed for the knitting one, and I wasn't expecting to come away with so many bits and pieces when I signed up. I thought it's mostly just going to be the fun of doing the thing. And I did enjoy doing this with my sister. She used to be a cross-stitcher back in the day, and it happens to be the 4-year anniversary of when my mother passed today. So that's an interesting thing to be able to do. So that's my cross-stitch, and that's my handbag, and that's my giant knitting. I'm assuming that you might see some shots of my giant knitting in progress after this, and then there should be my giant knitting when it's completed. We shall see how we go. I don't know what the dance is for, but I really need to go and moisturise my fingers because I'm losing so much skin, and work out whether or not I'm going to work on my blanket, my cross stitch, or my cardigan, I think those are the main ones now on the go. Maybe I'll work on the blanket for a bit. Either way, I need a cafefe, and then to enjoy what this is, the last day of my school holidays. So at some point I should start thinking about planning for going back to work tomorrow and finding my lunchbox. Yeah, first world problems. Right, let's go do some crafting. Right, giant yarn chicken. I think that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows on my checkerboard, and then I've got 2, 4 rows down the bottom. I don't think I've got enough yarn to do another checkerboard of 5. Maybe I do, maybe I don't know. I'm playing yarn chicken at this point, so I think what I will do is knit 4 rows and then see how much yarn I've got left, if any, because either this is going to use up all of it and I'll be pushing my luck to finish, or I'm going to go, oh, that was a lot more than I really thought. I don't know which I prefer the thought of. How many does it go across? So 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 4 squares across and 5 squares up. And it's definitely a lap blanket size. So here we are. We have finally, 2 weeks after the initial workshop, finished our big knitting. Do I hold it by the cast off or the cast on edge? I don't know. Let's hold it by the cast off edge upwards. This is my giant knitting. I can't actually see you to know whether or not I've got this all in the shot. If I step all the way back here, you might be able to see. How would I describe this big knitting? Well, I mean, it's big, it's chunky. It's a kilo of knitting. I had a lot of fun making it. I loved the workshop. Like, the workshop was so much fun. The process was fantastic. What I'm thinking I might do is get the yarn from the pet sheep of my niece, well, the fleece, and then send the fleece to be washed and carded from the same people who washed and carded this, and then knit it into a blanket for her. That could be cute. And to do the same thing for the in-laws with one of their sheep that's been floating around and is now old enough that she might not have baby sheep. It is a lapgan size. I do think, because I didn't follow the instructions, because when does one need to ever follow the instructions? I didn't follow the instructions and I went rogue, and I made 30 stitches across, whereas the tutor was doing 25. 25 does make more sense for making a blanket that's more proportional for blanket proportions, but this is a good lapgan size. The other problem I have, I still have to darn in my ends, is that because I had gone with a repeating 6-row pattern, I was playing yarn chicken towards the end. I didn't know whether or not I would have enough yarn left over to finish just my 4-row bordered edge. I did. I have this much left. What I'm tempted to do is make a wee cushion. And I really do mean a wee cushion. We're talking maybe 10 stitches, if that works, or less. I might be experimental, maybe 8 stitches, because there's not a lot here. I should weigh it. There's really not a lot. Yeah, what I have noticed about my knitting needles, my beautiful, beautiful knitting needles, they have held up really well. Anyone who's been around on this channel for years will know that I had wooden knitting needles from Wool and the Gang, I think it was, and they dented over use. And they went from being really waxy to being really just annoying to work with and rough. These have just got softer over the whole process, which is interesting. Now, there are some little dents. I don't think they're going to show up at all. Now, the little dents have come from knitting, from banging one needle into the other. My little ends that have been turned by the artisanal man who makes them, they've held up really well. There's a little bit of a split there that you might be able to see. This one has a slightly bigger ding on the end. But that's it. I mean, these guys are still beautiful and in thoroughly good shape. And they're very soft and they're gorgeous. And will I get 2 hooks put up in my yarn room to hang my giant needles? Yes, I will. Yes. Yes, I will. So I will put links down below for, it's going to bump the tripod, isn't it? That was stupid, Juanita. Never mind. I'm going to put links down below for the people who ran this workshop, just in case you're interested. I will put a link down below for cane carding, who carded and dyed the fleece, because they do sell them. And if you're in New Zealand, it's a really cheap way of getting the roving wool and getting custom colours. And if I ever get around to turning my yarn scrap into something, I'll post about that too. Do I recommend big knitting? Yes. The crazy thing is a lot of people at my work who don't know that I do a lot of knitting. I know. How do they not know? Probably because I don't shut up about anything, so it's really easy to tune me out about everything. But they saw my picture knitting this from the festival online and have been asking about it and whether or not they should do the workshop. I have said, of course you should. It's 100% fantastic. Everybody should do the workshop. The workshop is amazing. The woman who ran it was fantastic. I learned so much and I know lots. And there were people also in the workshop that had never knit before, and they were knitting a blanket alongside. None of us really got ahead because the process is so different. Yeah, so I will take some photos of this and I will post them and I will link them back to Ventana so that she can see my blanket finished. Very proud of it, very proud. Am I going to make the bed and take some beautiful shots of it there? No, I should. I won't. But mainly because I'm just too lazy and I don't feel like I'm going to get good light in the bedroom. I'll get fantastic light in the new house. There's no bed in there, so, you know, life struggles. Anyway, so if you would like to give big knitting a go, there'll be some links down below. If you are just wanting to hang around and watch some more of my knitting chaos, there'll be a video. Where is my video going to be? Flicking a kilo of blanket that I really do need to darn in the ends. The darning in the ends is kind of an easy process. You just pop them through. Anyway, if there is a video that you would like, YouTube thinks you want to watch that one, that'd be cool. Here's a playlist over here of videos that you might want to watch. And if you enjoyed this level of chaos and just want to see more of videos from me and my garden and these beautiful winter days, there'll be a subscribe button floating up there. Most likely. Something along those lines. Anyway, I will catch you next week. Bye.